Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of The Starting Lineup. I am your show's host and producer, Austin Lass, and here on The Starting Lineup, we're going to focus on all things high school sports. So in honor of the high school football season getting underway, we are going to focus on the first 3 weeks of highlights for your Utica Chieftains and Utica Eisenhower Eagles. So without further ado, here is your Week 1 highlights.
Perfect weather welcomed the Eagles, but an early interception by the Wildcats' Ellen Farmer stymied the Eagles' first drive. But Eisenhower continued to go to the air. Ryan Chargo with the grab. Then Max Witter keeps it and gets into Wildcat territory. Again, the Eagles think big, but double coverage proves too much as Chase Timko comes up with the interception. To counter, the Eagles' defense stepped it up. First, Salvatore Vittaggio. And then Ethan Brunning stopped the Plymouth running game. But after a little tweaking by Eisenhower offensive coordinator John DeGiorgio, the Eagles take flight. Max Whitwer heaves one to Ryan Chargo. Chargo finishes off the 73-yard touchdown as the Eagles take a 7-0 lead into the second half. At the beginning of the second, Jacob Albrecht scampers around the right side for 16 yards to put one in from the ground for the Eagles, making it 14-0. But the Wildcats would score off a 27-yard touchdown who would cut Ike's lead 14-7. Then a big return by Jacob Albrecht gets the Eagles to midfield. Whitwer and Chargo would team up again, this time for 26 yards to put Ike up 21-7, midway through the third. Anthony Toko's extra point was good, and Ike led 21-7. Late in the game, the Wildcats refused to give up. But neither did the Eagles or defensive back John Strobel, stopping this play in the end zone. And then later picking up one of his 2 interceptions for the game. Jake Grucey later recovers a Plymouth fumble for the amped-up Eisenhower defense. The Eagles would wrap it up late in the fourth quarter with a 22-yard pass from Whitwer to Ben Metz to make it 28-7 Eagles. We talked to head coach Chris Smith after the game.
Well, I thought we made some mistakes offensively that we got to really clean up, but I thought really defensively we really played an outstanding game. Last year they kind of pounded us early in the game, but I think this year, our front seven I thought did an outstanding job.
From Kettering High School in Waterford, first ever meeting of the Chieftains and the Captains. Jimmy McFadden from 34 yards out into the end zone with 7:28 left in the first quarter. And the score is 7-0. The Captains driving. Back to pass Ryan Nolan. Bounces around the hands of Noah Dooley with a great catch at the 18-yard line. Same drive. Ryan Nolan rolling right, looking, throws, caught by Jack Wright. And it's 14-0, Waterford Kettering. Late in the first quarter, Kettering extends their lead. Nolan back to pass, heaves a bar, brought down by Noah Dooley, and he's off to the races. No one's gonna catch him. 21-0, Captains lead. Utica in a big hole, but they have to claw their way back out. Patrick O'Connor back to pass. Nice slant to Dominic Carrera at the end of the first quarter. The Chieftains still driving. O'Connor back to pass. Lobs it deep. Right into the hands of Dominic Carrera again. And this time, 7 points. Utica pinned deep. O'Connor. And brought down by Cam Mitchell at their own 39-yard line. Setting up this. O'Connor lobs it right into the outstretched hands of Cam Mitchell in full stride. And nobody's going to catch up. Utica cuts the lead to 21-14. Kettering trying to tack on another one before the end of the half. Ryan Nolan back to pass, but Cam Mitchell steps in front of it. And we end the half. Score, Waterford Kettering 21, Utica 14. Second half, Utica gets the ball back and they're driving. Nathan Ayers pounding the ball inside. Then they head to the air. O'Connor and Cam Mitchell again into Kettering territory. Utica in the red zone. O'Connor, but just out of the hands of Dominic Carrera, which would have been a touchdown. Utica would stall out, but come away with a 25-yard field goal to cut the lead to 4. Ensuing kickoff, heads deep. But Jack Wright busting through Chieftain defenders all the way down to the 33-yard line of the Utica Chieftains. But Utica's defense would toughen up, stuffing Kettering. And in Utica territory, 4th down. Denied, turnover on downs. 3rd down, Utica still pinned deep. O'Connor getting hurried in the pocket, but takes matters into his own hands. Down at the 38-yard line, 1st down. Patrick O'Connor launching this one skyward, and Dominic Carrera pulls it down. Finally dragged out of bounds at the 29 of Kettering. Then a little bit of misdirection. Screen pass to Nathan Ayers. And he sprints past Waterford Kettering defenders into the end zone. Utica takes the lead. But wait, there's a flag. Holding. And the captains would take advantage. Jimmy McFadden rumbling into the end zone to make it 28-17. And the nail in the coffin, Nick Brown, to bring us to our final score. Waterford Kettering Captains 35, Utica Chieftains 17.
You know, I thought our guys fought hard. I thought they made some plays and we kind of put ourselves in a little bit of a hole in that first quarter, but, you know, I liked how hard we fought back, and, you know, just some of those plays didn't go our way at the end. And, you know, they went their way, and I commend them. They came out, they played really hard. They made some big plays early, and, you know, they got the momentum going. That says a lot. That's why I'm very proud of them. They fought back, they fought hard. You know, they clawed to the end. I mean, some of those plays at the end didn't go our way, and, you know, that was the difference. If some of those plays go our way, you know, it might be a little different feeling right now, but, you know, we're very proud of them. They didn't give up, and they fought hard back.
So that was a pretty good road win for the Eagles at Plymouth against a pretty good Plymouth team, and a pretty tough loss for the Chieftains at Waterford Kettering. Hopefully they can get things figured out. Let's take a look at some other scores in the MAC White Conference. You had Fraser beating Port Huron 43-21, Grosse Pointe South beating Detroit Cody 14-6, Macomb Lance Cruz North beating Waterford Mott 17-7, Anchor Bay beating Lance Cruz 41-8, Waterford Kettering beating your Utica Chieftains 35-17, and Ypsilanti Lincoln beating Utica Ford 47-20. Let's take a look at some more scores from the MAC Red Conference in the first week. Dakota beat Orchard Lake St. Mary's 35-28. Orchard Lake St. Mary's was 2-time defending state champions. The Chippewa Valley Big Reds beat the Lake Orion Dragons at Tom Adams Field at Wayne State University 27-7. Detroit Catholic Central crushed Sterling Heights Stevenson 42-0 at the Big House, at the Battle of the Big House. Oxford beat Romeo 27-26. Utica Eisenhower beat Plymouth 28-7. And Warren Mott beat Troy Athens 28-7. Now let's get into those Week 2 highlights for your Utica Chieftains and your Utica Eisenhower Eagles.
Big game for the Eisenhower Eagles as they take on the Dakota Cougars. Last time they beat them was 2011. Jack Preventure busting it for 10 yards for the Eisenhower Eagles. Max Whitwer with the option left. Takes it himself. Rumbles down the field. All the way down to the 38-yard line of Dakota. First down. Then back to pass, Whitwer to Jack Morris. Down to the 4-yard line of Dakota. Red zone. End around for the Eisenhower Eagles. Jacob Albright into the end zone. Touchdown. Dakota driving. Anthony Caldwell. Brett Drosky back to pass. Getting rushed. He escapes out of the pocket. Down to the 47-yard line of Eisenhower. Dawson Sloan for the Cougars. Some hard running right up the middle. Dakota trying to punch it in for their first score. Brett Drosky back to pass. Throws, but off the hands of a Cougar. And Jack Preventure is there to pick it off. And Eisenhower would take to the air. Max Whitwer back to pass. Bombs it to Ryan Chargo. And he brings it down into Dakota territory. Antonio Gray bringing the Eagles into the red zone. Then Max Whitwer brings matters into his own hands. Quarterback draw, and nobody's there. He marches into the end zone to bring the lead to 13-0. Into the second half, Dakota's Brett Drosky getting pressured out of the pocket, scrambling, can't find anyone, launches it deep and picked off by Eisenhower. John Strobel looks like he's fielding a punt, and Ike takes over. And Max Whitwer, with the quarterback draw, would use his speed. Down the field he goes. Now Eisenhower is up 20-0. After an unfortunate turnover by the Eagles, Dakota takes over. Brett Drosky with a bubble screen over to Dawson Sloan, cutting his way through Eagle defenders down to the 6-yard line. Dakota trying to cut Eisenhower's lead, but knocked away by John Strobel. And Dakota would get on the board on the back of Dawson Sloan. To bring our score to Eisenhower 20, Dakota 7. Dakota, Brett Drosky bombs it to Ronnie Walker down at the 16-yard line. Now quick slant. But John Strobel jumps in front of this one. And down the sideline he goes. Finally being tripped up at the Dakota 10. All culminating in an Eisenhower touchdown. Max Whitwer to Henry Janeway. They would miss the extra point, but they're still up 26-7. Dakota would drive down. Finally getting another touchdown by Dawson Sloan. Missing their 2-point conversion, bringing us to our final score. Eisenhower Eagles 26, Dakota Cougars 13.
We talked to the players all week. We're not going there scared. We're not going there stiff either. We're going there to have fun on this field. I told them, we're going here to have a party on Dakota's field. It's been a long time since we've won here. It's been longer than 6 years since we've won here. And so we just told them, let's go have a party on that field, just let it all hang out.
The Utica Chieftains won the coin toss and elected to receive the opening kickoff. A few plays into their opening drive, Utica quarterback Patrick O'Connor steps back to pass, launches one deep, and connects with his target Slater Lutz, who takes it all the way in for the game's first touchdown. After a penalty on their first point-after attempt, kicker Peter Milne would miss his second try wide left, and the Chieftains would only take a 6-0 lead. After a punt to end the Blue Devils' first drive, the Chieftains would start their second drive deep in their own territory. Running back Nathan Ayers got the drive started with a 20-yard run up the middle. A few plays later, Patrick O'Connor throws a beautiful pass over the middle, splitting two defenders to hit Slater Lutz again, and he takes it all the way down inside the 5-yard line. But the Blue Devils defense would stay tough. stopping the Chieftains on 4 consecutive plays and causing them to turn the ball over on downs. A few plays into the Blue Devils' next drive, quarterback Logan Miko connects with Noah Davey deep down the sideline to get them into Utica territory. On that same drive, now in the second quarter, Logan Miko hits Michael Breaker on a short pass, but Breaker breaks a few tackles and gets into the red zone. But the Blue Devils' drive would eventually stall out as they turn the ball over on downs off an incomplete pass from Logan Miko. On the Chieftains' next drive, O'Connor finds Dominique Carrera with a nice pass to move the sticks and get the ball to midfield. A few plays later, Cam Mitchell makes a spectacular one-handed grab to get into Blue Devils territory. O'Connor finds Dominique Carrera for a second time on the drive, and Carrera takes it in for a Chieftains touchdown. Kicker Peter Milne converts the point after this time and puts the Chieftains up 13-0. With the ball back close to halftime, the Blue Devils look to get on the scoreboard before the half. Logan Miko finds Jordan Rush on a screen pass, and Rush finds some room to run and gets into Utica territory. Now inside the red zone, Logan Miko takes it himself and gets into the end zone for a Blue Devils touchdown. The extra point is good, and the Blue Devils cut the lead to 13-7 at the half. After a combined 5 punts to start the second half, Grosse Pointe South would finally get into the red zone with over 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Jordan Rush finally caps off the drive with a short touchdown run. The extra point is good, putting the Blue Devils up 14-13. With the ball back in their own territory, O'Connor hands it off to Nathan Ayers, who runs for a big gain near midfield. Later in the drive, O'Connor finds his favorite target, Slater Lutz, over the middle yet again, and Lutz takes it down inside the 10-yard line. O'Connor then finds his tight end Dylan Scott in the end zone to put the Chieftains up with under 2 minutes to go. With one last chance for the Blue Devils, starting near their own 20-yard line, Logan Miko launches a very deep pass to Michael Breaker, who makes the catch and takes it in for a touchdown. The Blue Devils would also go for 2, but unlike the Chieftains, they were able to convert off a run from Jordan Rush, giving them a 22-19 lead with under a minute to go. The Chieftains would get one last chance for a game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown, but it would all be for naught as Patrick O'Connor is picked off by Blue Devils cornerback Jacob Hinkle. After a couple of kneel downs, the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils would go on to beat the Utica Chieftains 22-19, improving their record to 2 wins and 0 losses, and sending the Chieftains to their second straight loss to open the season. It was a depleted roster for the Cougars, but still a great win for your Eagles. A very tough loss for the Chieftains. I was at that game. It came down to the last minute. Hopefully they can get a win in Week 3. So let's take a look at other scores from the MAC White in Week 2. You had Grosse Pointe South beating your Utica Chieftains 22-19. L'Anse Creuse North beating Utica Ford 44-38. And Anchor Bay beating Fraser 21-0. And let's take a look at other scores from the MAC Red. Romeo beat Chip Valley 36-14. Utica Eisenhower beat Dakota 26-13. And Warren Mott beat Sterling Heights Stevenson 36-7. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have your Week 3 highlights, and we will take a look at the Week 4 schedule in the MAC White and MAC Red.
A&A Recycling Center is Michigan's premier parts recycling center that saves you money while protecting the environment. We pay top dollar for late model junk cars, SUVs, and trucks. All types, all models, both foreign and domestic. Search our online inventory to find used and refurbished parts. Need quick cash? Don't throw away your junk because your scrap metal is worth money. Selling has never been easier with our easy drive-on, drive-off scale. Visit A&A Recycling Center today.
Welcome to the Gentle Dentist, the office of Dr. Robert Antelak in Shelby Township. We pride ourselves in giving you exceptional care in a comfortable environment. We provide services such as crowns and veneers, implants, general and surgical dentistry, as well as oral sedation dentistry.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Antelak. We are blessed to have a dental home where you can be treated without judgment or criticism. We love the opportunity to meet you and your family and look forward to meeting you.
The Eagles trying to carry their luck into Roseville to face the Panthers. Ike would put their foot on the gas and wouldn't let up Jacob Albright for their first touchdown. After a mishandled snap, Max Whitworth scrambles right, throws to the back of the end zone, and connects with Jack Morris. That was just one of their 2 touchdown completions on the night. Ike pulling ahead even more. This time, Jack Preventure to put the score at 28-0. Backup quarterback Brandon Hicks. Quarterback draw. And they're up at the half, 42-0. Sebastian Puda. Late in the 4th quarter to bring us to our final score, Eisenhower Eagles 49, Roseville Panthers 0.
This group did a great job preparing. They prepared just like we prepared the last 2 weeks for the game, and they came out and I told them they just got to come out here and take care of business, and they did a great job.
The Chieftains would receive the opening kickoff, but their opening drive of the game would stall out just over midfield. Quarterback Patrick O'Connor showed off his punting skills as the Chieftains down it deep inside Falcons territory. Now with the ball inside their own 5-yard line, Falcons quarterback Noah Heedy fumbles the low shotgun snap and is sacked immediately by Denzel Felton in the end zone for a safety, putting the Chieftains up 2-0. After another Chieftains punt, the Falcons would work their way back into Utica territory with a nice pass from Heedy to Preston Smith, who picks up even more yardage after the catch. Later in the drive, Heedy delivers another beautiful pass, this time to Alexander Ifrady along the sideline. Looking to extend the drive on 3rd down, Heedy steps back to pass and is sacked by Stone Tanner to end the 1st quarter. Then, Alejandro Steinwasser misses a long 47-yard field goal to start the 2nd quarter. After a 3rd straight Chieftains punt to start the game, the Falcons would get back into Utica territory off a pass from Heedy to Smith. Later in the drive, Heedy throws a deep pass down the field into triple coverage and is intercepted by Dominique Carrera. Two plays later, with the ball deep in their own territory, O'Connor makes an ill-advised throw and is intercepted over the middle by Alex Bogans, who takes it to the house for the Falcons' first touchdown of the game. The extra point is good, giving the Falcons a 7-2 lead. After yet another Chieftains punt, the Falcons try to get over midfield, but after receiving the handoff, Kenyatte Byron fumbles the ball, and it is recovered by Dominique Carrera, who runs it back into Falcons territory. The Chieftains would then score their first touchdown of the game off a beautiful pass from O'Connor to Kayvon Higdon. The extra point is good, putting the Chieftains up 9-7. On their very next drive, the Falcons would fumble yet again, setting the Chieftains up with great field position. O'Connor steps back to pass and throws a long pass down the sideline and connects with Slater Lutz to get the Chieftains back into the red zone. Opting not to kick a field goal with the last play of the first half, the Chieftains would decide to go for a touchdown, but would come up empty-handed after O'Connor throws an incomplete pass to end the half. The Chieftains would take a 9-7 lead into the locker room.
I'm here with Coach Maruli of Utica. And Coach, your defense kept you in the game just enough to then let your offense take the lead right before halftime. Talk about that.
Yeah, our defense has been playing great. They played great last week too, so we expect them to do that. We're very confident in them. They came up with some big plays, some takeaways.
And then I noticed later as the half progressed, you started opening it up, running some passing plays, and that seemed to really put the defense on their heels.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue doing that in the second half, and we're still confident in our run game in the second half. I think we're going to fix a couple things at the half, and then come back with a little mix it up a little bit.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Now, starting the second half with the ball, Ricky Morgan runs into one of his own linemen, but is able to recover, runs to the outside, and gets a big gain to get the Falcons back into Chieftains territory. Later in the drive, Heedy delivers a jump ball down the sideline to Preston Smith, who makes a difficult jumping catch to move the Falcons deep into the red zone. But the Falcons are unable to get into the end zone after 3 consecutive plays. They opt to play it safe and kick a short field goal, putting them up 10-9. After a punt from the Chieftains and Falcons, the Chieftains would get near midfield off a nice pitch and catch from O'Connor to Lutz. Nathan Ayers then takes a handoff up the middle and moves the Chieftains into Falcons territory. On that same drive, but now in the fourth quarter, Nathan Ayers takes another handoff up the middle and gets the Chieftains into the red zone. O'Connor then caps off the drive with a touchdown pass to Dominique Carrera in the back of the end zone. The Chieftains would convert the 2-point conversion, putting them up 17-10. That would prove to be the game-winning touchdown as the Utica Chieftains go on to beat the Utica Ford Falcons by the same score of 17-10.
First win as the new head coach here. How's that feel?
I mean, it feels great. I'm proud of the kids. They played great. We had a tough one last week, so bouncing back from that one, a tough rivalry week with Ford. I know they were excited. I know they were ready to go. So, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them to get the win this year.
Taking a look at some other scores around the MAC White in Week 3, you had Grosse Pointe South beating Fraser 29-7, L'Anse Creuse North beating Anchor Bay 20-19, and your Utica Chieftains beating Utica Ford 17-10. So looking at other scores in the MAC Red in Week 3, you had Dakota beating L'Anse Creuse 49-0, Chippewa Valley beating Cousino 26-18, Romeo beating Grosse Pointe North 44-7, Sterling Heights Stevenson beating Sterling Heights 35-0, Utica Eisenhower beating Roseville 49-0, and Warren Mott beating Port Huron 35-7. Taking a look at the Week 4 schedule in the MAC Red, Dakota will visit Warren Mott, Chippewa Valley will visit Eisenhower, and the Romeo Bulldogs will go to Sterling Heights Stevenson. Now taking a look at the Week 4 schedule in the MAC White, Grosse Pointe South will travel to Utica Ford, Fraser will travel to L'Anse Creuse North, and your Utica Chieftains will travel to Anchor Bay. So thank you for watching the first ever episode of the Starting Lineup. Make sure you stay tuned for our next episode where we will break down all the highlights for your Utica Chieftains and Utica Eisenhower Eagles.